The story of Merion begins here at Merion Cricket Club, whose members founded the golf club a couple of miles down the road in 1896. The esteemed task of designing this course went to Scottish member and Princeton graduate Hugh Wilson. And the layout Wilson came up with owed much to his homeland. Before starting on the project, Wilson went on a tour of Britain's finest links courses and came here to Scotland's east coast, and in particular the North Berwick Golf Club, where he clearly drew inspiration from such design ideas as revetted bunkers, which have become such a distinguishing feature of the East Course at Merion.
They've become known as the white faces of Merion. In the beginning they were revetted. Now over time they've just become very natural. And you can see how sloped they are and how visible they are to create an intimidating feel for the player.
Oh, under the breeze. Oh, short. You know, Scott, the bunkers are notorious. I mean, why are they so difficult to play?
Well, first and foremost, they're as deep as you'll see anywhere. So the need to get the ball up really high is paramount, and then you have to stop it. So you've got to hit it high and get it to stop quickly on the green. I'm going to go in and take on this challenge.
The very best of luck to you, Scott.
I need it.
Oh, beautiful.
There it is. Get in.
Oh. The wicker baskets, I mean, they're just unique to Merion. What's the story behind them?
Very unique. Well, there are several stories, and we're not sure which one is legitimate, but we feel as though they came from Stoke Poges in England. So they've come here. Several courses in the United States had them, but we are the only ones that really stayed with this.
Now, every winner of a USGA event here at Merion gets a wicker basket, but they also win one of these precious trophies. But I suppose 1930 was the year that really put Merion on the map with that fantastic win by Bobby Jones.
Bobby Jones, as everyone knows, won the Grand Slam here by winning the U.S. Amateur. And one of the things that we've done at Merion is we've gotten replicas of all the trophies that were emblematic of the Grand Slam at that time. The British Amateur, the Open, the U.S. Open, and the Amateur Championship, which completed the Grand Slam for Bobby Jones. So it was a terrific accomplishment by him, and is something that some golfers have strived for ever since.
Broadway is a fairway for a day. Hogan's Alley, they call it, in honor of Ben Hogan, Mr. Big of golfing. Confetti, cheers, and civic honors for the comeback guy from Texas.
It was 1950 really that transformed both Ben Hogan and really copper-fastened Merion's place in golfing history. It was the victory that thrilled America, given what he had gone through.
Well, absolutely. Most people know that he was in an automobile accident and almost didn't live, let alone win this Open and 3 of the next 4 Opens after 1950. That's one of the reasons that he was so idolized by a number of people in the golf world. He hit the iconic shot to the 18th hole to get into a playoff, which he won the next day. This was his 36th hole that day, and having to hit a 1-iron to any distance on the green after 36 holes in his condition was absolutely fantastic. And you see this all over the world.
I can't recall in my time of a more famous photo than that particular one of Ben Hogan hitting that 1-iron and holding that pose. And you actually can't see his face. I mean, you're looking at his back. But you know what? You can show that to any professional in the world and they can tell you who it is. They don't have to see his face. And that's what makes it so special.
I just want you to identify this golfer.
That's Ben Hogan.
It was Ben Hogan. I think it was a 1-iron, but I'm not sure.
That's Hogan at the 18th at Merion.
Ben Hogan, 2-iron, Merion, US Open 1951. 50? Oh no!
Beautiful pose though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's nice. It's great. It's a great picture.
Well, nothing really compares to the original, and I've travelled, or should I say made a pilgrimage to the USGA Museum here in Far Hills, New Jersey, to see the photo and to really just absorb all of this Hogan culture. Mike, how many people come to visit here, and particularly this Hogan room?
There's quite a few that come in to the USGA Museum, especially to see the Ben Hogan room. And this photo here by Hy Peskin, and this 1-iron here that Hogan used in the 18th hole in the final round of the 1950 US Open.
That's what I really came here to see. I thought it was going to be in a case. You're actually holding it. And for me to hold it, I presume I have to wear gloves like that.
You will have to wear some gloves, but I have some right here for you. We're going to slide those on. We can get the 1-iron in your hand.
This is amazing. And you could cut butter with this club.
You really could. You really could. And you can see the sweet spot right there where Hogan hit it so many times. And on a club so small, to hit that shot when the pressure was the most. I'll hand this one over to you so you can feel it yourself.
Wow. This is an amazing moment for me. But that shot, that victory, it transformed Hogan's image.
Yeah, and I think that moment at Merion was really a turning point for Hogan. He was known as being a bit separated, a bit icy when it came to it. He really liked to do his own thing, but when he came back from that near-fatal crash and won the Open at Merion, it really changed a lot of people's perception of Ben. And at the time, coming off of World War II, a lot of other people were sitting around in the United States with crippling injuries, and they saw Hogan was able to come back from his own injury, win at Merion, and there was just really an outpouring of love for Hogan in the years that followed.
Ben's wife Valerie shares in his glory as Miriam Pelletieri and all New York say, "Well done, big little man of golf."
Now, Merion also played host to another dramatic 18-hole playoff back in 1971, when the already 8-time major champion Jack Nicklaus battled it out with the one and only Tex-Mex himself, Lee Trevino.
When I went there to play in the US Open, it was one of the finest golf courses I'd ever seen. It was tight, it was short, it had a lot of trouble, a lot of tall grass, everything. It was just beautiful. The big trees just to the left of 18. I thought that I would do very well. I heard Jack in the beginning of the week make a statement and said that if you can shoot 280 here, you'll probably win the golf tournament. And that's what I shot, 280. And he shot 280, and we tied. And then we went into the playoff. And then I shot 68, he shot 71. The first time since I'd been on tour in 1968, I felt like I belonged to the fraternity. I had beaten the best in an 18-hole playoff at Merion for the US Open, and then I said, maybe you do belong out here. And when I left there, I said, I fell in love with Merion, and I don't know her last name.